Hey everybody, what's up? It is Sarah with The Unleashed Beauty. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. In today's video, we are tackling one of my favorite beauty related things, the eyebrows. You guys, eyebrows are so important. They frame your face. That's the first thing I notice when I'm looking at you. I don't know about everybody else out there, but hi, I'm the eyebrow police. So we're going to talk about this because eyebrow trends have been a really big thing in the beauty community for a few years now. You know, we've seen the Instagram brow, the really gradient, like faded to perfection brow. We've seen right now there's a trend for the big, full, bushy, natural brows, think Visco. And there have been the squiggle brows and the Christmas tree brows and the all the brows, right? In the 90s, hello. In the 90s, we plucked them to beat all hell. And now, if you're my age or anywhere near it, you are paying the price for over tweezing those brows for far too long. So today I'm going to show you how I keep my brows looking nice and natural and just kind of throwing caution to the wind and doing my own thing because that's how I roll. So I do need to throw out a disclaimer to you guys. I am going to be using a product from Younique for this video, and I am an independent consultant for Younique. So if you decide to make a purchase from the link that I'm going to throw up for this brow palette in the description box, I will earn a small commission from those sales. So disclaimer, I do promote this brand. However, I would still use this one even if I didn't sell it because it's been my favorite brow product for a few years now and I don't think I could live without it. Okay, I think I covered all the bases there. So I guess we'll just get into it and do some brows. So typical starting point for me is just to comb out these brows and get them under control because if you're anything like me, your brows have a mind of their own and mine are typically all over the place. So I just grab a spoolie. This one happens to be on the end of a brow liner pencil, but anything will work. Even if you don't have a spoolie, you guys, save an old mascara wand and clean it off and you can use that just to kind of groom those brows. So once they're combed out, we go in with a Moodstruck Obsession brow palette. I use the brunette palette. These do come in a couple of different shades. And then I have my Younique Brow Artist brush. This is a double-ended brush. And so I always start with the angled side and I go into the darkest powder first. That's going to be what we start with. And what I do with that is just start lining right under the brow. And I come in, I don't know technical terms for eyebrows. Do you? If so, drop them in the comments. But I come in to where my brow starts to kind of arch, and that's where I'm going to start this. And just with tiny little strokes, I start lining that on down towards the back of the brow. Like I said in the intro, this is going to be a very basic tutorial for like natural looking brows. So we're not overlining them. We're not going crazy with it. We are just lining right under that brow. Okay, so once I've got the back half done, then I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to gradually start working my way towards the inside. Okay, so now the brow is underlined, period. All right, now we're gonna go into that same dark powder and I'm gonna come up and start at the back side of my arch. So where my arch starts to go down, and I'm just gonna do the same thing and I'm just outlining that eyebrow with tiny little strokes. It's really important to not try to just draw a line on because that's going to give you cartoon brows. Nobody wants that, right? So if you use those really small strokes, it's going to mimic your natural hair growth. And now I'm just filling that in the same way. Same dark powder, same tiny little strokes. All right, so now I'm going to start working down towards the front of the brow again. So I'm coming right into that arch again. and just following the natural hair growth pattern and making tiny little brush strokes. I'm not filling this all the way in. You may be able to tell some difference in the coloring there. This is just to get the shape down. And then I'll show you my trick for filling this in and keeping it natural. Now it's time to switch up these powder colors. So we're going in with the light powder, and I'm still using that angled side of my brow brush. And I'm going to start at the inside of the brow, and my brows grow, the inside of my brow grows straight up, and then it kind of falls over as we go. And so again, I'm just following that natural pattern of hair growth. And I'm going to keep this very light. You want to go in with a really light touch. That's going to give you a more precise stroke with your brush, a more precise line into that brow. And I'm kind of making stripes at this point, just here and there. I don't want them all packed super close together because that's going to give you, again, that kind of colored in look, and we don't want that. And then I'm going to use this light powder, and as we go, as the brow falls over, that's where I'm filling this in. So that lighter powder is going to get mixed in with the darker, and that just gives a really nice soft look. Now we're going to come back to the front of the brow again, and I'm going to pick up that darker powder. And I'm going to go kind of in between where I made my light stripes, and we're going to stick in a couple of dark ones, but not many, just a couple, because we don't want that gradient brow, right? The gradient brow trend is over. Praise the Lord, it is done. So we don't want that, but we do need a little bit of variation to the color just to keep things looking a little more natural. That's the word of the day. All right, so once your brow is all lined and filled in, that wasn't so bad, right? Super easy. We're gonna go back to our spoolie and just give that a quick brush through again. That's gonna help blend both of those powders together, and it also gets rid of any crazy lines that you might have. It just softens things up a little bit. Now try not to overbrush, especially on the inside part of the brow, because that's gonna lose some of those little hair-like brush strokes that we made. So you wanna go very light with your spoolie this time, but just give things a nice little comb. To finish this up, you can do a couple of different things. You can either leave it as is and just roll with it, which is what I do a lot of days, or you can carve out the brow. And to do that from the brow palette, I like to use this pink. It's kind of a color corrector. Pinks counteract with brown, so if you get hyperpigmentation, if you're wanting to cover any shadows or dark spots, pink's a great way to go. But I flip the brush over to the flat end for this, and I just pick up a little of that pink tone cream. This one's a cream, not a powder. Pick up a little bit of that, and I'm going to keep the brush on its flat and just start slowly wiggling that back and forth along the bottom of the brow. You don't have to throw a bunch of concealer on to carve out a brow and have it look really clean and sharp. I know that's kind of something you'll see a lot from different makeup artists, different influencers. They really go in hard with the concealer, and that's all good and fine and well. But if you are like me and you're starting to get a little bit older, putting a ton of concealer on your face is just going to really highlight imperfections, and we don't want that. So I went ahead and did the underside of the brow, and now I'm doing the top, still using that pink kind of color corrector, highlight cream. This is going to just make things look nice and bright and fresh. And I just went all along the top edge of the brow, and then you can just turn your brush and start kind of dragging that color up and away, just like we dragged down on the underneath side to kind of blend that out. Now there is a highlight cream in the brow palette right here. It's just like a soft vanilla with a little bit of shimmer to it. I don't tend to use that much, but what I do like to use is the setting wax. So the last step for the brow is going to be to go in again with the angled side of the brush, and I'm going to pick up a very small amount, a little bit goes a long way, of that setting wax with your brush and run it right through the brow. Again, just follow the direction of your natural hair growth, and try not to put a ton of it on the inside of the brow if you don't need to. because if you do, that's going to look a little shiny and it's not going to look right. If you do kind of go overboard with that, you can throw a little bit of setting powder. Just make sure that if you do that, you comb out the brow again so you're not left with a really powdery looking eyebrow. All right, you guys, that is it. That's one brow done. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one and I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, I am back with finished brows. They look pretty good, right? Now here is the deal. This is something worth mentioning, okay? Your brows are not supposed to match exactly. I know nobody's going to believe that, right? Because everybody's like, no, the brows, they have to be perfect. Listen, we're not built to be perfectly symmetrical creatures. It's just not how we are. Now, some people are blessed, right? Some people are beyond blessed, but for the most part, it's just not the case. So, take me for instance, this is my sassy brow. Have you met her? She's always silently judging you. My arch is just a little bit higher on this eyebrow and it's just the way that it is. So I do try to take some steps to even them out a little bit as I'm filling them in. But for the most part, I've just embraced the fact that they're going to be different. Second thing that I really wanted to talk about very quickly is the fact that I use powders for my brows. I know a ton of people think that pomades are the way to go, and I actually used to use a brow pomade for my eyebrows. I find that I have a lot better luck with a powder versus a pomade because a powder is going to give you a little bit more of an ability to control the coloring. And I can just really go light, I can go heavier. With a pomade, your color's kind of your color. At least for me, maybe I wasn't doing it right. I don't know, don't come for me. But for me, a powder is the way to go. So if you guys are interested in grabbing the brow palette that I use, I will have that linked down in the description box for you now. Because these do come with the light powder and the dark powder, you should be fine if you can at least guess close, but you can let me know if you need help and I'm happy to hook you guys up with some info on that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think if you guys do try this method for your brows. All right, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and feel free to share it with your friends. Also, again, if you guys don't already subscribe to this channel, click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications bell so that you never miss an upload. I do try to upload new videos every Wednesday and Friday. Thank you so much for hanging out today. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Be kind to one another. See you in the next one. Bye.